So if you're interested in new construction in Palm Beach County and in South Florida in general, and specifically looking for a 55 and older community, well, here's a good one. There's a lot of nice places in the Palm Beach and South Florida area, but here, in my opinion, from a value perspective, here is one of the best. This week, we're going to look at CRESSWIND Palm Beach in Westlake, Florida. My name is Ray Fernandez. I'm with Living in Palm Beach, Florida, powered by eXp Realty. Welcome. If this is your first time to our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button there in the corner. While you're at it, ring that bell. What that'll do is that'll notify you each time we put out a new video. We put out new videos every single week. So if you're wondering what it's like to eat, sleep, and drink here in South Florida, this is a channel for you. About 17 years ago, my family and I relocated to this part of the world we call South Florida, and we haven't looked back. Today, we truly find honor to help people, perhaps like you, do the exact same thing. So if you are thinking about moving to this area, if you're wondering what it's like and what's involved when it comes to relocating to South Florida, you have questions and you want answers from people who've actually done it before, well, there's a few ways to get a hold of us. Down below is our email address. That's one great way. Also on the screen, you see our phone number. You can either call or text that number, but literally two of the very best ways is in the description, and in the comments section, there's a link. Click on that link. What that'll do is that'll help set up some time for us to speak, either through a phone call or through a Zoom, whatever way you feel most comfortable. In any case, we have your back when it comes to relocating to here to sunny South Florida. We've helped so many people relocate to Florida, and we absolutely love it. So a while back, we did a video on the top 3+1 of 55 and older communities in South Florida, and this is one of them. This is CRESSWIND of Palm Beach. We're in the city of Westlake, which by itself is a whole story onto its own. We get a lot of people that are looking to retire, people that are 55 and older. And there are a lot of things that go into that. If you haven't seen it yet, don't do it now, but wait till after this video. If you haven't seen it yet, watch our pros and cons of living in a 55+ community. That'll give you some answers to some questions as to what's involved, because there are some more regulations when it comes to 55 and older communities. It is an HOA, it's a homeowners association. There are more regulations when it comes to living in a community like this CRESSWIND 55 and older community. Also, the other factor that you'll probably know is that on 55 and older communities, there are lots of amenities. There is a whole lifestyle involved. And because of that, in general, the HOA or the homeowners association fee is a little bit higher. Sometimes, many cases, a lot higher. Well, one of the benefits we find, I'll go through this a little bit more later, one of the benefits when it comes to CRESSWIND Palm Beach is in terms of the cost, the value it provides, this is one of the best communities in that regard. In this video, I am going to walk the community of CRESSWIND. That's it right across the street there. But before I go into all that, let me tell you a little bit about Westlake itself. Westlake is the newest city in Florida. Westlake is the fastest growing city in Florida. In fact, here I'm standing in front of the hammocks of Westlake. Minto, the builder, bought this whole area here there used to be Loxahatchee. They renamed it Westlake, this area. There's a big history to that. We have plenty of videos on our channel about the history of that. I'm not going to go into it in too much details, but the hammocks is the first community that was built in this area. When all is said and done, Westlake is going to be a total of 4,000 homes. When Minto purchased this property, they didn't want, in this area at least, to go into the 55 and older community. So what they ended up doing is they sold a portion of their property here in Westlake to CRESSWIND. That's CRESSWIND across the street here now from where we're standing. And CRESSWIND is about 800 homes. So of the 4,000 homes in all of Westlake, 800 homes is dedicated towards 55 and older community, and that's CRESSWIND. So in general, I find the people who buy into Westlake are I don't want to say they're non-HOA people, but they're people that like low HOAs. The HOAs are important. Like, look at all the greenery around here. I mean, the HOA, the Homeowners Association, is what keeps this place looking beautiful. They help make sure that people are, cutting their grass and they're not like letting things get out of hand. So there is definitely value to a homeowners association, but the trend in Florida is to go for a more lean HOA. So there are a lot of places that are leading in that direction. Westlake in general has low HOAs. That's all of Westlake. But when it comes to 55 and older communities, CRESSWIND at Westlake has one of the leanest 55 and older homeowners association fee in literally the whole area of South Florida. So let me just go right to it. The homeowners association fee for CRESSWIND is $350 a month. It gets you a lot. There is a lifestyle director. They have a ton of activities. I'll go more into that. I'm gonna drop some B-roll in this video on their fitness center and so forth. But for all that it offers, $350 is good. Relatively speaking, or comparingly, if you look at places such as Valencia Grand, we've done a video on that, and other 55 plus communities, they can go up to somewhere in the area of about $700 or double the price when it comes to homeowners association fee. So a while back, I did a video on the pros and cons of living in Westlake, Florida. And so I looked at living in Palm Beach, Florida. We don't sugarcoat anything. We have an unbiased opinion. We take the opinion that we want to bring value to you. And if we do that right, business naturally comes to us, and it does. So in any event, we want to make sure you're aware of the cons. One of the cons that sometimes people say, because we get a lot of feedback, we have people in from out of state every single week. And one of the issues that sometimes people have is it's a little bit removed. I mean, to get from here, Westlake, to the beach is approximately a half hour. And some people are like, have a problem that it takes that long. In any event, if you want to be on the beach, then Westlake is not for you. Elaborating a little bit more on that, what people sometimes wonder is, well, what's around Westlake? Trust me when I say this, Westlake is going to have a lot more people, a lot more around here. When you put 4,000 homes in an area, businesses are going to come. I mean, a smart business owner, if they're going to look to open a business, they're going to want to go into an area that's growing. And as you're seeing, as years have gone by, and we're about 4 years in where they've been selling and so forth. As they grow here, more and more business are coming out here, and I will make it. I'm pretty certain when I make this statement, in 2 years, this area, the city of Westlake, will look drastically different. So, I talked about 4,000 homes. I talked about 800 homes here at CRESSWIND. So this area, this community now is almost halfway finished. So we are just shy of 400 homes here at CRESSWIND. So you are sort of still early, but in any event, this area is, you can see we're starting. I'm walking through some of the community here. You can see that some owners have bought, have closed, and are now living here in CRESSWIND in Westlake, Florida. So the builder here at CRESSWIND is Coulter. They are a good builder. They're one of my favorites. The homes here, I'll go into pricing a little bit later. The prices here are significantly lower, better value from my standpoint. If you look at what they produce in Palm Beach Gardens, they're sort of like Eastern Palm Beach Gardens. They have a couple communities, one by the name of Artistry, the other one by the name of Alton. That's the same builder. Those homes are $1.5 million. That same builder is building here at CRESSWIND here in Westlake, and the prices are significantly lower. So over here is the sales center. Let me start by saying this, and I say this in all my videos on new construction. If you walk into the sales center on your own, I think you're absolutely crazy. It is our opinion here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida, that you want independent representation. And let me tell you a little bit about what that's all about. If you walk into the sales center on your own without a realtor or without independent, basically on your own, they will not allow you to have independent representation later. So it is important on your very first visit to come with your realtor so they can help represent you. Remember, the people that you're walking in at the sales center, they are employees of the builder. They work for the builder. And if you buy the home after visiting on the first time without independent representation, you are basically dealing with your employees for the rest of the transaction. At Living in Palm Beach, Florida, we will help you not only introduce you on the first visit. Again, first visit's important because they won't allow us if you don't do that. We will be there for the introduction. We will be there while you look at the communities. Remember, we don't have a bias. If this is not the right community for you, if we think Valencia Grand down in Boynton Beach is a better community for you, we will tell you that. If we think Regency up in Avenir is a better community, we'll tell you. There are also, another good point, there are homes that are resales in here. We can help you with those. The builders, they won't tell you about those homes that are for sale. There are lots of homes here for sale in the aftermarket because things happen and people move here and sometimes they get transferred back to their old home state. And so those homes go for the sale on the market. We can help you. If that's the route you want to go, you want to keep an eye out for what's available, reach out to our team. We could definitely help there. So an independent representation, we will be there living in Palm Beach. We will be there for the whole process. The introduction will help you with the contract. While we are not lawyers, we've seen enough. I've seen enough of these contracts myself personally. We'll be there for your inspections, if you like. If you're out of state and you want to have someone maybe film your home as it's being built, that's something we do. We do that all the time. We mainly do relocation. That is a part of the process we have here at Living in Palm Beach, Florida. We have a transaction coordinating team. So we will help keep the builders accountable. We will look over to see what the process is. So if you want someone, apart from the employees of the builder, fighting for you and making sure and keeping them accountable, then this is the way to go. We highly recommend getting independent representation when looking at any new construction community. So let me go right to pricing, because sometimes I don't get into the pricing in the beginning of the video, and I know that that's one of the things you want to know. It's important. If you have a certain budget, you want to make sure that you're watching the video that is possibly appropriate for you. But for 55 and older communities, in terms of pricing and absolute value, this is one of the lower ends. When it comes to new construction, when I say lower, I don't mean quality, I mean in terms of pricing. You can go down to the southern part of our county, which is like the Boca, Boynton, Delray area. The pricing there on most places is more money. You compare pricing here to CRESSWIND versus Valencia Grand. It is a lot less expensive here. Valencia Grand, you are going to be paying something in the order of over $1 million for sure. 1.2 on the low end, and they go all the way up to about $2 million. What's nice about CRESSWIND is they have a total of 12 models, and if you come to their sales center, they have a total of 10 that you actually can see in person. One of the things I really appreciate about what they do, and I think it's because, and it's smart, they appeal to the northerners, is if you go into their models, most of those models in the backyard, they have pools. And you know, if you're from the north, it's one of the things that you find appealing. When we moved down here to new construction way back when, that definitely appealed to us. So they are very good at presenting, and again, they have 12 models, 10 of which, so almost all of them, are here on site at CRESSWIND in Westlake, Florida. All right, so I'm going to use my cheat sheet here just to go over some of the models, but of the 12 models, the lowest in price is the Casey. And that's about 1,524 square feet. It's the smallest. Now, let me say this. In general, when you're looking at 55 and older communities, they're going to be a little bit smaller because they're making the assumption that you're making the assumption eventually, if you're not retired yet, you will be soon, and you're downsizing. So most of the homes in general, compared to all age communities, are going to be a little bit smaller. So it is that's the smallest. In fact, they don't even have that model here on site. That's one of the two that they're missing. The lowest one is the Lido, and they have 3 collections. They have the Key, the Island, and the Coastal. But the Casey is 1,524 square feet, and the base price of that house is $440,000. This home right here is the Alley. More on that later. This is one of the upper models price wise. It's the only model that has a 3-car garage, which some people find that important. So if garages are important, this is one of the models I would definitely consider. So continuing with the collections. So they have the Key collection, the Island collection, and the Coastal collection. We bring a lot of people here. We do a lot of business. Living in Palm Beach, we do a lot of business here. What I have found when I bring people here, for whatever reason, people in general like that middle collection. There are some very popular models there. There's the Fiesta, there's the Bahia. There's that one model they show the model. If you eliminate the upstairs, it becomes the Bahia, which is sort of nice. So they're basically showing that one model to represent 2, which is nice. A lot of people, and I get this a lot, A lot of people, when they're sitting there in their kitchen, they want to be able to look out from their kitchen while they're cooking. They can look out into the pool area or into their backyard. We get that a lot. There are a couple of models that fit that profile. So in any event, there again, they have 12 models, 10 of which are here. They're decorated well, so there's sort of a lot to show. And that middle section, that middle collection, seems to be where we see more and more. Probably more than half of our people seem to like that collection more than the other two. So the island is the middle one I was referring to. The coastal collection is the upper one. And if I had to pick a second, like after that middle, the coastal collection on the upper end, that's the second most popular, more so than the lower ones. I think what I found that a lot of people find the lower ones a little bit too small for them. 1,500 square feet is probably good by some, but for some reason, for some people, it's not. The largest model is 3,000 square feet. It is the Villano, right? There you go. Yes, it is the Villano, and to give you a price, it's $675,000. So the highest price, the highest base price for here at CRESSWIND is $675,000 for the home, and that is the Villano. That is their large, and they do in fact have that model here on site at CRESSWIND in Westlake. I got to say this: if you go to the websites, and it's not just CRESSWIND, it's in general, and you look at pricing, like that 440 number I mentioned on the lower model, that if you think you can get in for that, you can't. That is just the base price of the home. That doesn't include the price of a lot, and it doesn't include upgrades. So you're going to want to consider that. So realistically speaking, and here at Living in Palm Beach, we live in real land. Realistically speaking, you're looking at about the 500s here. In general, the lots of land are a little bit less here than some places. We do a lot of new construction, as I mentioned. Our three big master plan communities in our area are Westlake, Avenir, and Arden. And if there are some lots up in Avenir that are literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, I've been told, I'm not going to say which community, but there was one community that sold a lot of land for $550,000 up there. There are some in one of the other communities I know currently available. They're available at $300,000 and $350,000. So if you're here at CRESSWIND, you don't need to worry about that. It's the pricing on the lots are not as land. Every builder's different, and some people make the prices, the land lots, more money than others. And in the end, my advice is, in the end, what you really want to do is you want to just take into account the overall number. That is the lot and the land. But if you go to their website, that is just the home, and it doesn't include the land, and it doesn't include the options. So what should you budget for options? I get that question a lot. Every community is different. There's I mentioned Avenir. There's a community up there, Latier, that their standards are really high. It's a Keovanian a community. So you probably walk out of there with a lower bill because you're spending a lot more on the house. But in general, with the average builder, you're going to spend something in the order of somewhere around 10-15% of the overall price that you'll put towards options. So going back to that middle collection, that's the island collection. Here are some of the models that we see a lot of activity, a lot of interest in. Laguna, Fiesta, Dana, Bahia, and the Anna Maria is there as well. But again, those are the models that we see the most activity. I don't know if it's the size that's it, but it probably is. It's not too small yet, not too big. And it seems to hit the sweet spot when it comes to 55 plus living here in Florida. All right, let me hit on this. This is the rules. People always ask about, well, what do I need to contend with? Go to my the pros and cons of a 55 plus community if you really want to get to know this better. But there are a lot of rules, but any HOA, but it's not crazy. The biggest one has to come with the fact that it's a 55 and older community is the age restrictions. Of course, if you're 55, of course you can get in. But it's not just that. Here's the element that makes it sometimes prohibited for people, or where people shy away from it when it comes to buying in these kind of communities. So children, every community is a little bit different. Some are 18, some are 19, but that's about the age that they will limit the children to live here. So if you have someone younger than 18 years old, for an example, they will not be allowed to live here at any 55 and older community, but including here at CRESSWIND of Westlake, Florida. Now, of course, children could visit. That goes without saying. But if you are an older parent like myself, I'm of the age, I'm 55, but I have a daughter that's not 18 years old. So if that's the case, that's where people sometimes have an issue. The other thing too is sometimes is if you're snowbirds, and we get a lot of snowbirds here in Florida. Snowbirds meaning that they're only here part of the year. If you're up north and you're back in New York, Chicago, Ohio, and you're not here in the summertime, you can't just let like your kids use your CRESSWIND house as a hotel. So there are age restrictions, and if you want to know more about what's involved, I actually have a copy of some of the bylaws. We've done a lot of business here. If you want to reach out, we'll happily help you in that regard. So what's a 55 and older community tour without going over the amenities? I'm going to head over to the clubhouse now and discuss some of the many amenities I have here at CRESSWIND of Westlake. If you are a dog lover, this is a community for you. They actually have a dog park. It's a dog-friendly community, I find. And they have separate parks, one for small dogs, one for large dogs. So it's obviously they know that people find their dogs to be an important part of their life, so they have that there. This is the clubhouse in the background. Remember, this community is only 50% sold, and it's even less than that in terms of being occupied. So it might seem a little bit quiet, but this community will look very different in the years to come. So over here they have their tennis courts, they have their pickleball. They have a lot. That's a big thing down here from Florida now, is pickleball. It's like a smaller version of tennis, and they have very competitive leagues around here for pickleball. So they have pickleball, they have tennis, they have bocce ball. They have a really nice resort pool here. What I have found is that people that I bring to Westlake and they're on the borderline of deciding whether they want to look at the all-age community, the Minto community at Westlake, or here at CRESSWIND, the biggest difference is when I take them to the pool. The pool over at the Adventure Park in Westlake is usually pretty active. It's an all-age community, so there are kids in there. And so it's sometimes, for people, depending on what lifestyle you want, it can be maybe a little bit too much. The pool area here at CRESSWIND is always a lot quieter. One factor is that there are less people living here, but in general, you don't have the kids running around in the pool area. So that's one factor. If you want a little bit more of a resort style, quieter living, CRESSWIND is a better alternative for you, in my opinion, than it would be over at Minto, the other side of Westlake, Florida. So in this area here, they do a lot of events. They have like an amphitheater here where they have concerts and so forth. They have a little, I would say, this bar area. They don't sell alcohol back here, but they have a little bit of an area there. So if you want to bring your stuff, I'm sure if you want to bring your alcohol, then you can. Just be quiet about it. But this is a nice little area. Here's your amphitheater. They do a lot of concerts inside. There is a nice stage in it. I've been to some of their events in here. They've got bands in there that represent, the older bands that are, they do like tribute bands. They do that back there. Here's the pool. I'm not going to go in it. I've had other videos with B-roll of it, but I've actually have a video of this place at night. But let me really quickly show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's Saturday morning and there's literally nobody here, so it's quiet. They will, in lots of 55 and older communities, they will restrict the time sometimes. Depends on the community, of the ages, of the hours the kids can come. Not 100% sure of the restrictions here, but that's a factor. If you're looking at 55 and older communities, you want to ask these questions. That's one of the values that we bring to helping our clients, is we look at and we make sure you're aware. We'll help you to do the due diligence when it comes to knowing what you're getting yourself into when you're getting into a 55 plus community here in Florida. And let me go into this real quick. I say here in Florida, and the reason I say that is we help people all across the state. So if you want to find a place like in the Villages up in the middle part of Florida, or anywheres in Florida, we can help you. My team, we handle Port St. Lucie to Miami, but we help people in other areas. I've got a team of agents around the country, and if I don't have an agent in that particular area, I have a mechanism, a network where I could vet the realtors to help you. We're helping someone right now in Pensacola, Florida. We've done one in Naples recently. We've done one in Sarasota recently. So if you're looking to relocate, and this because South Florida or Palm Beach is not your area, we can still help you. Reach out to our team if you want to find out more about how that works. All right, here's your dog park. I'm going by the dog park. Here's the rules as an example. As you can see there, the large and the small dogs, and they consider 30 pounds the dividing point. The other thing is, I want to talk about this. This is one of the lakes. All these lakes here in Cresswind, and most of them in Florida, are man-made lakes. They use the lakes to irrigate the water, irrigate your grass and whatnot. But when it comes to buying a home here in this community or any community, in general, like I said, you're going to need to buy the house and the lot of land. If you want to be off one of these lakes to have a water view, in general, your lot of land is going to cost you more money, and you will pay more money to get a water view here at Cresswind or most new construction communities here in Florida. The other thing they have here at the clubhouse is inside there, they've got a state-of-the-art fitness center. They have a way of tracking. I mean, it's really cool. They have a way of tracking your progress. So if you want to come every day to the gym and track your progress and how you're doing with the various exercise machines and so forth, they have that there. It's definitely one of the better gyms that I've seen in 55 plus communities. Also, if you come here, we look at their calendar. It'll give you a good idea of the events they have. If there's an activity, if there's a club that's not here, you can be proactive and start it yourself. So that's what I find is lots of times if people move to communities and there's not necessarily a particular club of interest, let's say the chess club of Staten Island, New York, you can start it. And as long as you get enough interest, you can do it. But these are great places to meet people. It's a great way to socialize. When it comes to 55 and older communities, it's a lifestyle. And that's one of the things you need to appreciate. There's a certain difference between a lifestyle in a 55 and older community versus an all ages community. Reach out to our team if you want. And me personally, I can tell you what the differences are. And just because you're 55, maybe this is not the place for you, but I can help you understand the differences between what to expect here or in an all age community. So one thing I have found is the people that move to Westlake in general absolutely love it. We have literally dozens right now of active pending contracts in new construction currently, and here we are in 2023. A large portion of them come from Westlake in general, and here in Cresswind, quite frankly. So when it comes to that, people love it. And the other factor I wanted to mention is lots of times what happens is people invite their family. They move here from, let's say, New York, which we see a lot of that. And they say, hey, you guys need to check this out. Or if you are if you're in this community and your kids are thinking about moving to this community, there are some really good options. One of the options, and from a lower cost perspective, is here in Westlake. There's a community called The Crossings, which is the all-age community over by Minto, which you can get in. Those are townhouses, so you can get into there in the mid 400s. So if you have if you live here in Cresswind and you invite people that might not have as healthy a budget as you, there are options. Reach out to our office, and I'd love to explain exactly what those options might be. The other thing I want to mention is this is a very golf cart friendly community. So there is that's the alley model I was telling you about. That is the third garage. A lot of people use that third garage as a golf cart garage. This is a very golf cart friendly community. So if you want to go just drive from like your home to the clubhouse, this is a great community for that. If you don't want to get into your car and just drive around the neighborhood, this is a great community for that. Cresswind, Westlake, Palm Beach, South Florida at its finest. Okay, she keep going,